All right, what is up, folks? We are back with another quick, let's say under 10 minutes ride with me to the gym. So, on this one, it's a Saturday, and Saturdays, if you've listened to a couple of these that I've done, are typically a cardio or just kind of flexible programming day. Today definitely is a mashup of those two things. What I'm going to talk to you about today is my mindset on getting back into your regular rhythm, your regular groove, after you've taken some time off from your normal training routine. So, first today, definitely a mix of focusing on cardio and conditioning, also just being flexible with what the movements are going to be. So I'll start off, I know that I'm going to start off with, let's call it about 20 minutes of zone 2 to maybe 3, right around there. Like it's going to be intensity of somewhere around maybe RPE 5 on the bike erg. Going to do some reading while I do that, maybe catch up on a particular YouTube video. And then after that, we're just going to kind of let it flow and get back in the groove. So, talking about returning back to your training after you've taken some time off, I want to be specific. I'm talking about either planned time off or voluntary time off, not taking time off after having been sick. That's a different podcast episode, which I have done podcasts on that before. Maybe I can approach that again if anybody's got some interest. However, when getting back into training after you have been, if you've been like me, you've been traveling, you have potentially gone through a heavier period at work, just things have been busier than usual, and now it's time for you to get back into the groove. There's a couple of things that I really throw out there as an approach. First and absolutely foremost is I like to build a couple of days of buffer programming in there, and buffer programming being where I have a bit more flexibility in what I'm doing. So I'm not as regimented, I'm not as structured when it comes to exactly what I'm doing. Or if I am being very specific about, hey, when I'm getting back into that groove, I'm going right back to the same program I was doing, or I'm starting a new program, it's got specific movements and all that stuff. I allow myself and actually encourage myself that first week may be even feeling like I'm going through the motions and checking the box. I'm literally, when I say going through the motions, just taking the time to really reacclimate myself to moving the way that maybe my body has not been moving over the past week to 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. So I'm reacclimating myself to having weight in my hand, although I did work out while I was on vacation. You're reacclimating yourself to doing resistance training, reacclimating yourself to really being tuned in to that focused gym time. So something that I will from time to time do, again, is build in a couple of buffer days or a couple of buffer workouts where the mindset is potentially just about re-entry, for lack of a better way to put it. I know that's a term that typically gets used when you are going back to regular life after being locked up for a while, but re-entry just seemed to be the best thing that I could come up with. So that is number one. And then number two, in no particular order, is also doing the opposite of what, based on anecdotal evidence, what a lot of folks do is coincide getting back into the regular training rhythm with also doing some sort of a cut, going right into a deficit, maybe even just completely trying to do a complete 180, and they go immediately into like fat loss or try to make things super, super strict and restricted right after they get back. Again, from extended amount of time off, whether it be vacation, based on work, based on schedule, whatever it might be, while you're getting back in the groove of training, there's this thought process of, oh, I've been kind of off my game. If you haven't been specifically following your foundational fitness habits of eat well, sleep enough, exercise regularly, so they try to just completely flip the course at the same time that they're also getting back into the groove of the gym. and that is not something that I recommend, and just generally not something that I follow. What I will do, 98% transparency, what I will do is I do refocus and re-engage things like, I'll give you a very real example, getting back into the line of tracking my water. So a lot of times I just drink water pretty regularly anyway. When I'm getting back into the groove of my regular training and my regular, like what it means to eat well, sometimes to recalibrate, I'll actually track how much water I'm drinking so that I can really ensure that I'm getting in the amount that I set as my target, that I believe that I need. So doing those sorts of things, also just re-engaging the focus on getting in a certain amount of servings of fruits and vegetables, things like that. So that would be the second thing. We're pulling up now. So that would be the second thing, is having a focus on making sure that I'm still getting in enough fuel, perhaps getting better fuel in, but enough fuel, not immediately assuming, well, I've been out of the game for a while, so I need to also go into a cut at the same time that I'm stepping back into my regular training routine. So those are just two things I wanted to pass on to you. And if you've listened to maybe the first or second episode of these Ride to the Gym with Me's, you know that one of the primary reasons that I started doing this was to minimize the amount of time that when I get into the gym, then just sitting in the car and kind of scrolling, maybe going through the workout, stuff like that. Just get to the gym, park, and then hop out of the car. So that's what I'm going to do as soon as I sign off here. Going to hop into the gym and get this party started. So if you've listened this long, appreciate it, and I'll catch you on the next one.